Hello and welcome to the show. Today I've got a Ford Fiesta XR2 for a silly car build. Now, I know I've had two Fords in a row, but let's face it, this is a rather different vehicle to the F100, and it is likely to be quite a handful. After all, we've raced front-flipping versions of these cars. Now, we're quite not going to have that crazy a level of vehicle, but how this is going to behave with so much power in a front-wheel drive car, I don't know. The Mini struggled, as you would imagine, and this is going to have the same engine that went in the Mini, the 2-litre i4. It's certainly not a bad engine, and there will be plenty of power coming out of it by the time that I have finished, along with having a very, very light car. Ooh, rally lights is tempting. I would like all of the rally lights. However, we need the downforce. The downforce is going to be quite important. Anything that can give me handling, basically, is going to be needed on this vehicle. Although if we can save some weight, I shall do that indeed. Ooh, we can get some mud flaps that actually increase drag and increase weight. That's the first sort of one of them that I've seen that has been kind of what you would expect, sort of correct. Ooh, or we can have some... Yeah, we'll go for a lighter bonnet. Yes, we will have that. It's going to be a very, very light car. I know that this is likely to be nigh on undrivable. The Mini was better, though, than I was expecting it to be, so there is potential for this not to be too terrible, but having so much power going through the front wheels is always asking for trouble. The speed run, for example, we are probably going to struggle to get to the 200-mile-an-hour mark. The car, I have no doubt, is capable of, but it is all of the power trying to go through the front wheels that causes all of the issues. They're happy to spin all of their power away trying to go down the straight. So yeah, that could well be a difficulty with this. Likewise, understeer is likely to be tremendous when it comes to some of, especially the faster corners. Right, we are on to more handling parts now. Just how light can we get the Fiesta, I wonder? We're not quite going to get down to Mini levels of lightness, but it's certainly not going to be that far off. We do have the roll cage to install, which will jump the weight up, but then equally we have the weight reduction to put in the car that should hopefully bring it back down. I suspect we're going to be looking around about the 1,800 pound mark. The roll cage put it up to 1,956, and with weight reduction, we're going to take most of that weight back out again. Ooh, can we keep it under 1,700? That would be not too bad going. Well, things like exhaust, so we'll save some weight. Equally, turbos will add the weight back on again. If I remember correctly, this engine could get up towards almost 800 horsepower, and that power-to-weight ratio is massively impressive. And then you've got to bear in mind we've got a tiny wheelbase. Again, not quite as small as the Mini, but tiny wheelbases can often lead to quite a twitchy vehicle, and in the wet, especially if we've got cold rear tyres, in the wet that could end up in Mini pointing the wrong way or going sideways across the grass and ending up, Fiesta ending up sideways across the grass and on its roof. I don't know whether we'll see this car roll even. It could be a potential candidate for a rolling, tumbling vehicle, but we will have to wait and see. 684 horsepower. Intercooler, if we could add some more onto that. There we go. 707 horsepower in our Fiesta. We will finish with 1,733 pounds. Not a huge amount of torque, but still 469 in this vehicle with it all going through the front wheels is, yeah, likely to be tough. Notice also the PI. We are only halfway through A-Class. This might not be very good to drive. Now, of course, to test out the Fiesta, I have brought it to the Virginia International Raceway, where it will have 5 laps in an attempt to go as fast as possible around the Patriot alternate layout. Now, the Fiesta's main rival is going to be the classic Mini. Its lap time of 1:18.2, a fair way down on the rest of the field. Yes, but crazy front-wheel drive cars with this much power around a wet circuit always likely to struggle. And let's not forget, this is a mid-A class car. It's going up against well, often S and R class vehicles. So PI-wise, yeah, it's a fair way down on the other vehicles. And, well, 700 horsepower through the front wheels is never really a particularly good idea. Sure enough, off the line there is much wheel spin and, oh god, not a lot in the way of braking. That's, considering the speeds are not particularly great, that's not filling me with confidence in terms of getting slowed down for turn 1. However, the back end of the car is behaving itself relatively well. I've made a silly mistake. Can't carry... we don't have quite the cornering grip, but the back end is actually relatively planted. I mean, that's actually really quite stupid the way I took the corner, really throwing the car around, and even then, it was... No, it's staying stuck on the road. I did fear that we could... I thought it with the Mini as well. Thought we could have a car that would want to twitch and throw you around. That is not the case, though. That is not the case with the Fiesta. That is good news. Oh, actually, that's not bad speed on the playing it very dangerously out there with the grass. I think a few more millimetres to the right-hand side, and we would have dipped a couple of wheels on the grass, and then there's no grip out there, and that would not be good for the little XR2, of course. Trying to get this thing to stay in a straight line while it's spinning the wheels is not working out so well. Short shifting kind of works to an extent, but there is just so much wheel spin going on in this vehicle, or so little grip that I can try, but even in like 5th gear or 6th gear. Do we have a 6th gear? We do have a 6th gear. Even in this, if I try and go flat out in it, I suspect we're going to... Oh no, 6th gear does just about work, actually. I was expecting that to sit there and spin the wheels. Often they do, and I certainly can still spin the wheels. I've got to be careful. Big turbos on this engine. Or if we sit in 6th for 2 for some of the really slow corners, we would really struggle to get it going again out the other side. Let's bang it back up into this gear and see what we can... As it comes over the crest, it's still... I don't think it really makes a huge difference. Even in this, as we come over these crests, these bumps, it's still going to spin the wheels up, so I might as well just faff around and try and do better with the throttle in the lower gears. We are going to tend to keep it slightly higher up as we leave this final corner. Still trying to put that power down. An 18.5 though from the Fiesta, considering it had a bit of an off as well. This is probably going to beat the Mini, actually. It's probably going to do quite well. 140 miles an hour before turn 1. We're almost having an accident. That I thought that was going straight on. I thought we were not going to make that corner. We did, though, somehow get stopped. Considering we are well down on straight line speed, we've seen cars up into the 190s, almost 200 miles an hour down that straight. This is, yes, it's braking later than them, but it really does not feel comfortable getting slowed down. All right, let's try 3rd gear out of here. It's all about trying to find whatever gear it is that I can reasonably put the power down, but still have the turbos, still, make the most of the power, make the most of the acceleration that I do have, that I can use in the vehicle. We're only kind of 10 miles an hour down at that corner, and considering that is, well, it's one of the faster corners on this circuit, it's this kind of turn that a high-powered front-wheel drive car in the wet does not like at all. The sort of twistier sections is not too bad on. You're not having to worry about putting power down through the corners much. Hey, a 16.8 from the Fiesta. That is not that far. We've only got 3 seconds to find if we want to get near the Rolls Royce. I somehow get the feeling that is probably not going to happen, but nevertheless, we shall give it a try. I'm going to stick it in a much higher gear this time around and see if that will work to quell some of the wheel spin in the Fiesta. It feels very sluggish doing it like this, but maybe, just maybe, it could work. Oh no, that's too much speed being taken into the S's. It's actually quite easy to get carried away with speed doing it in this manner when I've been used to driving for the past couple of laps a completely bonkers wheel spinny monstrosity. It's not, I mean, I was a little bit out of position through the S's. It's certainly not looking like we're going to make it a huge amount of time. That is neater though through this high speed corner. I was a little worried about the curbs and this car, they don't really seem to be affecting it too much. In fact, of all of the small light stuff that I've driven, this is actually faring very, very well with the curbs, although I've butchered the final corner there. That is completely completely my fault. Ended up taking a slightly wonky line. Did not work at all. Okay, final lap. Final lap for the Fiesta. What can I do with the car? I mean, the 16 is better than I was kind of expecting from it, in all honesty. Oh, we're playing that one risky with tyre bundles and curbs and grass, and I imagine it would not take much. We were up there. I might have been playing it dangerously, but it was quick through that section. Can I find some more time in the crazy Fiesta as we run through the S's now? Don't get caught out by the understeer. Fourth gear seems good. Fourth gear does seem pretty good, actually. Getting through these turns. Third gear out of this section. We're still up. Lost a smidge in the middle sector. Okay, now don't mess it up as we come around this nasty bugger of a turn. That is good. 85 miles an hour. Absolutely on the limit of what the Fiesta can do grip-wise around that corner. That's really not that far off some of the much more sensible vehicles in terms of mid-corner speed there, but this is where we lose time. Really tough getting the car, getting the power down, getting it accelerated to 16.0. I'll take that. I will take that indeed. A 116.0, 2.2 seconds quicker than the Mini. For a front-wheel drive, crazy powerful machine, that is not bad. That is not bad at all for the XR2. Yeah, it's a couple of seconds down on the Rolls-Royce Dawn, the Mercedes G-Wagon, Lamborghini LM002, and that is to be expected. I thought it was going to be a lot further down compared to their times. It does okay. I mean, it's not easy to drive, certainly. Very large amounts of understeer if we're trying to go near the throttle through the corners, but with a little bit of caution, with a little bit of care, and some decent lines through various turns, it can maintain better corner speed than I feared, and it wasn't horribly twitchy either. However, it is now time to see if the Fiesta can crack the 200 mile an hour mark with the speed run. Now, naturally, that means bringing the Fiesta to Le Mans. Now, this car certainly doesn't have the most power of the vehicles that have driven, neither is it the greatest of shapes for speed running, aerodynamically speaking. Hopefully, though, it has enough power. It's all about, can it put it down onto the road? And judging by the looks of the benchmark at the moment, I'm going to hazard a guess as no. I think we're going to spin all of the power away and it's going to be useless. I am going to try sticking the aero up on the car. Yes, this will create more drag. However, it might give us half a chance of getting the car to whatever speed. Let's have a little play around with the gearbox. It reckons, I mean, looking at the graph, it reckons plenty of miles an hour, but I fear that 168 is what it can do because it is limited by, well, the lack of front-wheel drive grip. It really can't seem to do more than that, can it? Whatever I do, the Aztec might beat something. That can't happen. We can't have the Aztec beating something. There's nothing I can do about it either. The aero, I can dump it off. It reckons it'll be slightly faster. I reckon about 2 miles an hour quicker. I'm surprised by that. If this car is, as I imagine, going to be very much traction limited, well, we will see. We will see what happens when we get up towards that 170 mile an hour mark. There should be plenty of straight to accelerate towards it. Now, I wonder also if we can spin the wheels the entire length of the straight. I can certainly spin them all the way down towards turn 1. It may be a bit of a handful through these opening corners. Relatively long flowing corner. Once we've got through this opening chicane, long flowing corners, cold rear tyres in a very quick Fiesta. Not likely to end massively well, but there we go. We just chuck it in. Is there? No, there's not quite enough. There's not quite enough grip to get the front end turned in for the back end to wiggle around and cause problems. So we're okay on that front. Now, as we head towards the straight, I'm hoping we can beat the benchmark. Oh god, we cannot do that though. That is, yeah, it's just, the front end just doesn't get turned in. As you can imagine, when you're putting any power down, using any throttle, the front end just won't do, it just wants to go in a straight line, basically, and that is not helping me get around these corners particularly. We've got to be careful and very mindful of the bumps down here, because as you can see, it is somewhat nasty. Oh, now we're trying to put more power down onto the road. We're in 4th gear. I still can't even vaguely go near full throttle here. Maybe just dump it in 6th. Even then, I can't get the car to full throttle quite. It's wanting to spin the wheels here as we hit 165 miles an hour. I can't really do much more if I try and go full throttle here like I want to. We're actually losing speed because we just can't use any of the power here. I can get 170 out of it, no problem. Oh, and we burst into some more wheel spin. Yeah, if I try and hold the throttle, there we go, it's 167, and all we're doing is... That's impressive. I mean, I thought, you know, the Mini and the Aztec having issues at 180. Whoa, that's a big jump. That's a rallycross jump we've got going on there. I thought the Aztec and the Mini, you know, the 180 miles an hour was kind of what we were going to see from front-wheel drive cars. Potentially, you know, the point at which they're restricted by traction. The Volvo, the 850R, did 220 something. Yeah, that could spin its wheels the entire way down the straight, but it had the traction to get up to 228 miles an hour. This 170. We did crack the 170 mile an hour mark, but that is impressively awful. I say it's impressively awful when we're comparing it to the vehicles that have gone in this series. I mean, 170 miles an hour in an XR2 Fiesta is very, very quick. However, it is the slowest of our vehicles. The Aztec is no longer at the bottom of the table. It's 11 miles an hour faster than the Fiesta. It's just, there's nothing I can do about putting that power down any better. I was trying to be as delicate as I can with the throttle, but I've still got to use a lot of throttle to keep it, you know, picking up speed. And at the end of the day, yeah, it does not have the traction to put the power down whatsoever. Around the circuit, though, it's not too bad. You know, beating the Mini quite comprehensively around the track. But yeah, straight line speed-wise, we've got no traction, even in comparison to the Mini and the Aztec, other horrendously overpowered front-wheel drive cars. It's just nothing in terms of traction. So there we go. That is it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.